Hi, everybody. Welcome to SPE Live again. Welcome back. We're covering, it's our second day of covering the Oilfield Scale Conference. So we're very excited to bring you that again. More about that in the program. First of all, just a quick mention to our sponsor, the SPE Foundation. They make all of this SPE Live possible, so thank you very much for them. They are a great support for us in these broadcasts. So, Oilfield Scale. So yesterday was day one of the conference. Today is day two, and so day three tomorrow. So day one really brought it home. All about Oilfield Scale and how Oilfield Scale is about flow assurance, especially at high drawdowns, low reservoir pressures, high temperatures. So those are the factors that really impact mature fields, especially. But you know, they're also important for new field developments, particularly around understanding production and reservoir management, well construction, the lower and upper completions, where they are especially at risk of oilfield scale, and also workover strategies. Some really great learnings from yesterday, great updates and innovations on scale control, case studies, scale prediction in unconventionals, scale squeeze treatments in extended reach horizontal wells, and also scale treatment and scale treatment design in high temperature, high pressure wells. So some really excellent content. So if you haven't registered for the conference, you can register today. You can pick up the on-demand presentations from yesterday. All the material from the conference is available in terms of presentations is available on demand for the next 30 days. So really, really great content. And really, starting yesterday, a fabulous keynote from Dr. Kari Ramstar at Equinor, correlating calcium carbonate scale risk with field experience. You know, really, really key information, key learnings from Equinor. And right, let's just take a quick note from Kari here. Let's listen to what she had to say yesterday.
What we see is that the risk of scaling is very temperature dependent when it comes to calcium carbonate scaling. And we have developed this operational risk diagram based on field experiences in which cases have we actually observed the carbonate scale, and then we have correlated this with calculated saturation ratios. And this is a very powerful tool for us, this diagram, for planning for new fields or new wells, to see the risk in each case as a function of temperature and what scale management strategy we should choose in each case.
Yeah, really amazing learnings there. It encapsulates everything about oilfield scale and flow assurance. So some really good stuff. So check that out. Another really good keynote coming up today, Alex Yi-Seung Liu from Rice University. He's talking about barite or barium sulfate scale deposits and how that deposits at, or does it deposit at, kinetic stable flows. So why is that so important? Well, if you've got barite scale, then you have a big problem because barite scale is insoluble for the most part. So something that you really want to avoid in your production wells and in your topside facilities. And you know, his keynote picks up from some really interesting results presented yesterday, again from Rice University Joint Industry Project on brines and scales. They were talking yesterday about using dispersants and inhibitors to prevent barite scaling. So some really interesting stuff coming out of this conference. Hot topics today. You know, we've got more about that shortly. Let's just go over to Asha to give us a quick rundown of this new virtual platform, because it is a virtual conference. So Asha, please take it away. Tell us about the virtual platform.
Welcome to the SPE Virtual International Oilfield Scale Conference and Exhibition. Once you log into our platform, you'll see a list of links. These links include keynote and technical presentations, exhibition and sponsors area, networking lounge, e-poster presentations, resource and information hub, and the help desk option. Clicking into the keynote and technical presentations allows you to see a list of presenters and the time their session starts. The exhibition and sponsors area is where you can view booths and learn more about that company. The networking lounge is where you can interact with other delegates in real time by using this chat feature. The e-posters presentations also allows you to view all the presenters and the time of their sessions. To learn more about the event itself and our sponsors, click the Resource and Information Hub link. Lastly, the Help Desk Center is always available if you need any further assistance. We hope you enjoy this amazing event.
Oh, thank you, Asha. So yeah, go and check that out. Check out the website. The whole virtual conference is sponsored by Equinor. The exhibitors are Clariant and Chimera. So check those guys out. Some really interesting information around those companies on the website. So let's take a look at some of the hot topics coming up today. So the first one is inorganic scale control during EOR production. So, you know, EOR, enhanced oil recovery, is basically sweeping the reservoir from an injector well to producer well to maximize recovery. The problem is that EOR treatments are not always compatible with scale inhibition treatments. You know, we had some great comments about that yesterday. Let's go over to Christian Sand again from Equinor, who talked about EOR and really gave us a good sort of lead up to this whole topic today.
For me, it's really the EOR session, because I have sort of one foot in the EOR world and one in the scale world. And when you go into the material there you see that there's many similarities, some quite obvious things. For example, for EOR chemicals, polymers, surfactants, and so on, we want to avoid adsorption, we want to avoid loss. But in the scale world, we have the exact same backbones of polymers, and we want to have a very high adsorption. So you know, to understand it, to get those high or low values, that's really the key.
That's really great. I mean, just to hear Christian talking about that yesterday. So Christian was one of the session chairs yesterday. You know, and really they're explaining why oilfield chemistry is so important. So, you know, it's understanding the fluid that's coming out of the reservoir and also understanding the fluids and other chemicals we're putting into the reservoir. So, you know, very key information about flow assurance. It's all about flow assurance and minimizing that scale. So let's take a quick trivia question. Let's see if you guys are awake and interested. So, trivia question today is, name the most common types of mineral scale encountered in oil and gas production operations. Now you can answer us, just type it into the chat boxes you have on social media. Tell us what you think. Tell us which ones you think are the most common mineral scales. And whilst you are doing that, we'll talk a little bit more about the other hot topics coming up today. So again, this is really looking, so the second hot topic is the residual analysis and produced water monitoring. So as I just said, you know, here you can see what's coming up in the session later on today. So this is basically the crime scene investigation for understanding oil field scale, because we basically have to measure the produced water coming out of the well, and it will tell us what's going on down in the well. And if we have an understanding of where water's coming into the production well, it will help us understand the risk of oil field scale. So understanding what we monitor up on the surface, how we monitor it through time, what the well's telling us, will tell us all about oil field scale. So some really interesting stuff. We've got some next generation on-site analysis being presented. And it goes back to what Kari Ramstad was saying yesterday in her keynote. The whole of that field strategy that Equinor's developed is based on surface measurements. So it's really important. Let's just go to, we got an audience answer. Let's just go over to that. Let's see what people are saying about our oil field scale. What are the most common types of minerals? So Jessica, she's saying calcium and barium. Calcium is the most complex. Yes. So calcium carbonate, yeah, that's one of them. And barium sulfate, I mentioned that earlier, that's the barite, also very common. And iron sulfide, that's the third most common type, very common in gas wells, and high temperature wells. So gas production, gas wells, often related and associated with higher reservoir temperatures. So really great content in the conference and also today. So check it out. Check out the website. Registration is still open. I will say also, the virtual conference. This is SP's first virtual conference. Is brought to you in part by the SP Foundation, but also the main sponsor, Equinor, and also supported by Clarion and Chimera. So really great. It's exciting content. It's a really interesting and great platform to work in. There's a lot of interaction between the presenters and the audience. You can network with other audience members during the presentations. You can chat together, make comments about the presentation, ask questions. Really good and deep Q&A sessions after presentations. And one of the things we haven't mentioned so far are the e-posters. So the e-posters are kind of like mini presentations. They're 10 minutes each. And then there's some really good in-depth discussions around the e-posters. So also worth checking out those. We had e-posters yesterday, more e-posters to come today. So really great information. So really encourage you to check out this Oilfield Scale Conference. If you're at all concerned about production assurance, if you have oilfield scale risk in your reservoirs, then this is the place to come and get information. So the conference continues today. It starts in 3 short minutes with the keynote and the opening for day 2. Also continues into day 3 tomorrow, so another full day tomorrow. So each of the days are around about 4 to 6 hours. So really good content. You can tune in, tune out as you need to. As I said, it's on demand as well, the presentations. All the presentations will be available in the One Petro archive, so you can download papers and read them at your leisure also. We will be back later on, noon Central Time here in Houston, 6 p.m. British time, 7 p.m. European time, 8 p.m. Saudi Arabia time, if you're watching us from there. And we'll do a recap of today's day 2 at the conference. So please join us again in in fact, 5.5 hours. Please join us then, and we'll give you a recap. We'll bring in a few guests from today, talk about what they took away from today, and also a little bit about yesterday. So please join us. It's been great talking to you all this morning. Like I said, check us out on SPE.com and check out the conference as well on the website. So we are going to hand over now to the conference. It's about to start up. So thank you very much for listening. And please enjoy the conference if you have time to join it. And join us again in 5.5 hours time when we do a recap. So thank you very much. And a pleasure talking to you. Talk to you all later. Thanks. Bye.